All right. Well, we just did 24 hours of Appalachia. What'd you think of it?
It was awesome.
It was my third one, his first one, and I think they're on season 3. I guess you could call it. Jed's been doing it for 3 years now. I went and did the first one, went and did the second one, and they just keep getting better and better. They're trying to learn how to do things and make things work and keep everybody happy, which seems to be the hardest part. A lot of the side-by-side guys were upset this time around because they made it mandatory to buy helmets and wear helmets, and everybody was mad about it. And then a side-by-side happened to roll over, and the dudes would probably be dead if they wouldn't have helmets on. So, and then Jed's trying to figure out mile per hour averages and stuff, because this time around the course was pretty easy. But the hook was, you couldn't go faster than 60 miles an hour, which was new. Well, you could, but you got penalized. And then, you had to carry a 30 mile an hour average, which was actually pretty fun to try and keep. Then it was your moving average, not your total average. So it was pretty fun, but we saw some pretty, crazy parts of West Virginia, didn't we?
Crazy.
Just parts of West Virginia that you don't ever see. And we were on some roads for 45, 50 minutes, and it's just this dirt road, 25 mile an hour speed limit, and there's houses everywhere, shacks everywhere, and makes you wonder how those people get around to do anything, grocery stores or whatever. It's pretty,
No Amazon.
definitely no Amazon. But we saw houses with 10, 15 washer and dryers in the yard, and fridges and hot water tanks and toilets in the middle of the road.
Yep.
Probably saw 100 deer, couple cats. No, Great Pyrenees this time around. We usually see them, every trip we have before, but we were a little bit more north this trip. We weren't northern West Virginia, but we were up above where we usually were for these trips. And, I gotta go right here, right?
Yep. Lots of waterfalls.
Oh my gosh. Waterfalls and churches. That's another one.
Churches where you wouldn't think there'd be a church.
When did Candyland move up here?
It actually is closed.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I keep going here, or
You can go out here and hit 68, or you can go straight on and hit 40.
Straight.
You can go straight.
I don't want to go fast. We've been going 80 miles an hour for the past 4 hours. And, kind of tired of that. But, yeah, we did, awesome. And it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to do that well. We did, 416 miles in just under 15 hours. We actually won the best team overall time, which we didn't even know was a trophy. So it's pretty cool. PJ made all the trophies. And, me and Michael get to share one. I got sent out before him by maybe 5 or 6 minutes. They were sending everybody off in 30-second increments. And I think he was 8 cars behind us, and then he got a flat. And we were already outside of radio contact. We were talking about that earlier, how far apart our radios can get before we lose each other. And it's kind of just line of sight when you're in the mountains, you're going up and down and different trees, and the signal's not bouncing off everything. So other than that, we, didn't really have any issue. This thing now, gotta slam it into park to get the key to recognize that it's in park for the key to come out. So that's kind of annoying.
Little mud, probably.
Little mud down in the shift linkage, or I don't remember I don't think this thing has a switch on the selector. So, I mean, there could be mud in here. This guy decided to bury us into a ditch.
I did.
About 5 minutes after driving, it's okay because this thing is a bear. It has hydraulic assist steering, and Cooper put a good point in. He said it's more of a suggestion than an assist, and it's definitely a weird setup. And if you're not used to driving it, it gets weird because you turn and it doesn't really come back anymore with the hydraulic assist. It makes turning a whole lot easier, but when you're trying to pin it around a turn or whatever, it doesn't technically like to come back all the time. But it's just kind of a nature of the beast. You give up one thing or you try to make one thing better and you give up another. So before it wouldn't steer at all in 4-wheel drive and the front diff locked. So that was super annoying. But now it steers good in 4-wheel drive and it steers okay elsewhere. But he had never driven it. We drove from his house to Seneca, and that was the first time you'd ever driven it.
Yeah, first time.
And this thing body rolls like crazy too. And the tire pressure was less. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. But it didn't hurt anything. Put it in 4-wheel drive and it drove right out. So it worked out. But yeah, we did, made good time. No breaks. We had 45 minutes of stopping. And I would say probably 20 of it was waiting on Michael and Brian, another buddy. He didn't run with us the whole time. We just kind of checked in with each other here and there. It was his first event. And I helped him air up right after the first stint in Thomas. His air pressure was a little too low, so we aired him up and he said carry on, so we rolled out. And then me and Shriver ran together for the 13 hours. We had probably 4 or 5 mistakes. They were taking penalty for missed turns this year, which was new. I don't know on Gaia how far of a missed turn it takes to look like a missed turn because some of the intersections are bigger and whatnot. But we had a few of them, but then they also did a bonus selfie thing. So they changed a couple things with all that, and I think that was pretty cool. I think Jed got a little bit of flack for the mile an hour thing because the side-by-side guys were fast. At least half of them were finishing with an over 30 mile an hour average. Their course was a little bit different. We went through a couple forest roads where the speed limit's very slow. I mean, the one section we were going 5 or 7 miles an hour the whole time for 2 or 3 hours. So they couldn't do that section because of being forest road. But, yeah, it was a good time. And, I've already got some things that I want to upgrade on this. I don't think I'll be doing another one this year, but I want to, help out in Hinton and take Kelly and the boys. Something's going on up here. That might just be lights.
Yeah,
but this event was really cool because we actually got to like talk and hang out with a bunch of people that we really only see for a minute at a time. But, we got to talk and hang out with Rich a lot, and he's like the main support guy. He does a lot of the recovery and stuff, and he did tech, and PJ helped out with tech. So I'm going to see about tagging along with him and down in Hinton and helping out and all that stuff. But, what would you change about our setup here?
on a thing, we had food.
Yeah, I changed. This was a last minute decision to put the pack out stuff here, and it worked perfect. We didn't have to, stop along the way to get drinks or food. It was super accessible. We stopped. I think we could have done 2 fuel stops. When we got to Thomas, I put I think $10 in because the card reader wouldn't take my card. So I walked in and I just told her to put 10 on it. And I should have put like 15 or 20 because I pushed it to McNutt is the town we made it to. And I was on fumes. I think I ended up having a gallon left. And then, we filled up in McNutt and then we filled up in Elizabeth. And I think that was it. 3 fuels.
Yeah.
45 minutes stopped. It was a good time. You drove for a little bit. And, I got to take some video and be a co-driver for a little bit. But it honestly can't believe how smoothly it went. It was a pretty good time.
Got a blast.
And just the weather was great. We got a good bit of rain yesterday evening into the night. And then it was just kind of wet the rest of the time. So
it's sticky.
It made everything gross. The door handles were sticky, and anytime we got out, mud was on our legs and all that fun stuff. But we got to Point Pleasant from Seneca Rocks before midnight, and then we hung out there for a little bit, and then the time changed, and we lost an hour. And we actually had an Airbnb like 2 blocks from the Mothman statue, and it was a Mothman house.
Yeah, to say the least.
The one room had probably 60 things of pictures and memorabilia all over the wall, and
everything was black.
Everything was black. I don't know if you noticed, but the dresser, the top 2 knobs were red.
Yeah.
Like his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time, and I'm still trying to figure out some camera setup. So we're filming on my phone and my Insta360. My phone is handling my mics. I need to get an adapter if I want to use the Insta360. So I've acquired too many cameras, and I like having options, but it's gotten to the point to where I can't use all of them at the same time. And some of them are kind of redundant now. I have Meta glasses now, which are super fun. And then I bought a Sony that I can't get over how good it films for how old it is. It's a 6-year-old.
Low light. Wow.
The low light is crazy. I did a YouTube this morning. I just pulled the footage right off the camera, put it together in iMovie, and then, posted it to YouTube, and it looks so good. So, and I have a DJI Pocket and I've got a DJI Action 5, and I think I'm going to be getting rid of both of those. I think PJ's going to buy the Pocket off of me, and I'm talking to somebody else about the Action. I don't know if I'm going to hang on to these mics. They do work flawlessly with the DJI stuff, and they work well on their own, but it's a pretty pricey little package, and I could sell them and then get something else for a little bit cheaper, but I'll figure that out later. But the Pocket being a gimbal, I always have a problem filming in here. It's good footage, but the gimbal wants to follow the where the Jeep was. So you mount it, and then it ends up being, it follows where it originally was mounted. You can lock it if you hold the button, but there's no other way to actually lock the gimbal. So it's been kind of annoying. And I did some handheld footage with the Sony, and I honestly like it a little bit more, being not a perfect fluid footage. I don't know. I've been watching a bunch of Casey Neistat's videos, and his are like that, not perfect, and they're just good videos. So trying some stuff out, trying to thin out my camera repertoire. But, yeah, we did. We're probably clocking over, well, maybe not 1,000.
Pretty close.
But it's, almost 100 miles to your house from mine. And then it was about 60 miles to Seneca. And then we just did 416. And then we're going to do about 260 back to your house. And then another 100. So yeah, about 1,000. And Jeep did pretty good.
Did awesome.
Yeah, didn't have any issues. Michael didn't have any issues. And we won a trophy.
Other than Michael's flat tire.
Yeah, other than his flat tire. Which we were too far ahead of him to help anyways. And not being in radio contact. We heard something come across the radio. And all we heard was flat tire.
Black Toyota.
But there were so many different Toyotas. And he has a jack and everything to be able to swap it out. That's one thing I don't have is a jack. I almost tried to buy one, but he had one. And we were planning on running together anyways. So neither of us, well, he had the issue, but I didn't. So it worked out. But yeah. So I don't know what this footage will look like, whether it'll be in my phone or this camera. But I'm going to try and rely on the Insta360 camera a little bit more. Because it does put out good footage. The only issue with all this camera stuff is the DJIs work so well with the cameras, but having to use the receiver and adapters and stuff. The Insta360 needs an adapter to hook up to the camera, which is kind of annoying. But we'll figure it out. So that's our recap, I guess, of the 24 hours of Appalachia that was only actually 15 hours. But it was a good time.
Not everyone finished.
Well, yeah, there was still, I think they said 30% of the entries didn't finish. And I think Friday night they said there was 120 entries, but then when check-in time came around, not everybody was there. A couple people actually had issues en route to Seneca and didn't make it. Dang, that Mustang is jacked. So, I don't know how many numbers exactly, and I don't know what our final time is because we had the 2 bonuses and then we had the couple mistakes.
Navigational mistakes.
Yeah, I made a couple wrong turns. We ended up in a driveway for about 25 feet. And then I missed a turn that Driver didn't. Driver missed a turn that I didn't. I don't think you missed any turns while you were driving.
No, because you were navigating.
Yeah. But, Gaia worked good. I've had issues with it before, kind of cutting out, and it did it to Shriver. I don't know why. He just has a section probably 6 or 7 miles long, maybe a little bit more, where it's just blank. So his data is a little bit skewed. He was showing a faster average speed than us.
By 0.2.
By 0.2. He was 29.8 and we were 29.6.
And 30.0 is what you were shooting for.
And we were shooting for 30. But I had 416 miles total and he only had 406 or 408 or something. And then we also tried to use Onyx, and Onyx didn't want to work at all. If you zoomed in too far, the map would go away, and it was still tracking, but
the direction was weird.
It didn't know where everything was, and it was a little bit harder to read.
You got some of the turns that look like the actual turn.
Yeah, so in Gaia, the way Jed does it is I think he follows the routes, and pre-runs everything. So it's an actual vehicle moving on the trail. But the way Gaia works is it was all pinpointed. So it'd be like a turn here and it was a point, and then the next spot was a point and it was just a straight line.
But there might have been 4 turns in between that straight.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that I think I heard some other people complaining about similar issues and streets with the wrong name and other stuff like that. But
Because they had signs with at the top of the hills telling you which way to go, but
yeah, we also had 2 or 3 bypasses that got put into place that morning. There was a section after Parsons where it was a snow emergency, or it was a snow route, and it was still ice covered. There was 2 trucks that went and did it, and they had a heck of a time. And they said it was because they weren't paying attention and didn't know they weren't supposed to go on it. I forget what the other bypass was, and then there was one that was a creek.
that was too
It rained and it was all the snow had been melting, and I think maybe 2 or 3 trucks made it. One Toyota almost rolled. There's a couple side by side issues, but overall it was a good weekend. Jed didn't get any police interference. Nobody got locals calling in on them.
Some people had some run-ins with locals.
Yeah, we were running with a group of probably 8 trucks at one point, and we pull up on them, and there was a 4Runner stuck in a ditch, and then 2 side by sides peeled out
fast,
and then he got stuck in a ditch, and we drove out of it. We got going again, and that's when a couple trucks had passed us, and then we come up on them, and they were all stopped, and there was a car blocking the road. He said some Jeep ran his wife off the road, and thankfully the guy in front was able to de-escalate it. But yeah, Jed was happy about that. I think he gets pretty stressed out about the whole thing. It's a lot to deal with. There's a whole bunch of logistics, and if anybody is interested in the 24-hour rally events, they're pretty awesome. There's a couple a year. They're doing the Point Pleasant one. He was saying not sure if there's going to be another point to point. That stuff's really hard to logistically try and plan to get together, and you got to have volunteers spread out over 500 miles for most of the course. I know at one point we were in Elizabeth. We were still about
3 hours,
2.5 hours, 3 hours away from Point Pleasant. I was talking to Rich there, or not Rich. Richard.
Yeah, Rich. You talked to Rich there.
I thought I was talking to someone else there, but no, I was talking to him. It was a long day, but I was talking to him, and I was asking him what the spread was. He said it was over 200 miles of a spread between where first place was and where the last car was. They also added the use of Life 360 this year, which I'd never used, but it's basically like a GPS tracker that tracks everyone all at the same time in a group. So they didn't run checkpoints, which was cool. We had those before, and that's another thing with the volunteer thing, is they had a hard time keeping the checkpoint staffed, and people had to leave, and then there wasn't a checkpoint, and then we didn't know what to do, and it was just a mess. So they're learning just as we're learning. We felt pretty good for this one. We got done and we're like, now what do we do? Cause we were tired, but we weren't
whipped,
which was weird. Cause the first 2 we were totally whipped. We did the first one in 24 hours exactly, but we had to drop off 24 or 5 miles. And the second one was hitting, and I think we did it in 21 something. And Shriver was right behind us. He was probably 20 minutes behind us on that one. But yeah, It was fun. So I'm getting ready to drop him off, and then I'm headed home. And
with the trophy.
With a trophy. I told Michael said PJ's going to have to make a duplicate or split it down the middle. So I'll have to post some stuff about that. But yeah, thanks for doing the rally with me.
It's awesome.
Had a good time. And can't wait for the next time we get out there. Yeah, feel how hot my phone is from recording with it.
Oh, wow. Toasty. Kills the battery, too.
But it's 4K, 60 feet per
I know,
second.
it's pretty
so
amazing.
Pretty wild footage, but I just wanted to. I don't know how this is going to turn out, and I wanted to film with it because this uses a USB-C adapter,
right?
And as soon as you plug it in,
it automatically
it's the audio. I can't plug it directly into that, but I have to buy an adapter that goes out into this. So I've got to figure out if there's a way that I can mount
that somewhere.
Get a hot shoe mount for this.
You plug that somewhere.
Because this is what is it, a cold shoe or a hot shoe? I've always called them a hot shoe.
I don't know which way.
But it's the thing on top of the camera.
That's a cold shoe.
Cold shoe. Okay. So I need to see about if I can print a case for this that has a cold shoe and you just go.
Yep. Oh.
But.
Awesome.
And I don't know if I'm going to hang on to these mics. So.
Better light it now.
Get your magnet too.
Huh?
Get your magnet too.
Oh,
it's.
Sorry.
It just went somewhere.
How it just fall through the hole.
Well, it's a magnet, so it didn't go anywhere.
Okay.
It's probably attached somewhere.